Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Goddess Project. Y'all have been around the world. I skipped a week because I was in Singapore living my best life. I just got back. Y'all, Singapore is so lit. Singapore is such a vibe. There's such refinement. There's such luxury there. I absolutely love it. And as usual, I am anchoring in my elemental magic. I just like to have an element near me because I can feel that energy and I can channel quicker and clearer when there is a raw element around. So I just lit this candle I bought at the supermarket here in Bali, and the intention I'm going to place this into this candle is this is the candle for YouTube. As this candle burns, it will widen my message, allow it to reach more people. It will channel the messages clearly. It will help to open the dimensions so that the energy that's necessary for healing, for flow, for activation will flow through. And so let it be. So what are we talking about today, guys? Today we're talking about, because this week in the Goddess Project actually, we are addressing the topic of self-abandonment. And you can't address the topic of self-abandonment without speaking about self-love. And y'all, I think this is one of those concepts that people treat so lightly. Like when you hear people talking about self-love, you immediately think bubble baths and massages. And self-love is way deeper than that. And because of this misinformation when it comes to self-love, or this misrepresentation, I find that people don't go deep enough. Deep in love is true, but people don't go deep enough into self-work love because of the light way it's represented online, or just anywhere where you hear the light way it's represented online, or anytime you hear people talk about self-love. Self-love is so deeply etched into our everyday lives. Self-love is so deeply ingrained into every facet of our life, because if you do not have the proper self-love installed into your system, every area of your life is going to be lower than it should be. Every area of your life is going to be lacking in a way that it wouldn't if you have that self-love. If you're normally supposed to be at a 10, if you don't have self-love, you're at a 5. So whatever you have around your life right now, if your self-love understanding, if your self-love programming isn't installed deeply enough, it will dim your shine, dim your ability to receive, dim every aspect of your life that you can ever think about. As usual, before we start, I'm going to pull some cards for y'all. I do not have my regular tarot deck with me, so I guess we're just going to use these oracle cards. Spirit, okay, this one. Ooh. That's so interesting. So I pulled from 2 different decks. The first card I got was, I don't know if you can see it, it says the Pleiades. And the second card from another completely different deck says the Portal Keeper. There's some galactic energy flowing right now. There's some galactic energy flowing right now. Pleiades, Portal Keeper, some of you higher, when I say higher, don't think in terms of hierarchy, think in terms of space in time, or space in terms of where something is located. There are higher dimensional frequencies that are trying to reach out to you, but you don't know enough about that world, so your fear is keeping you away from it. Somebody watching needs to start studying up about higher dimensional beings, other extra dimensional beings, Pleiadians, Arcturians, there's a whole Lyrians, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but you don't know enough about it, so you are afraid. And when we don't have enough information, fear takes over that space, and so you're being blocked with communication with these beings that are supposed to be helping you throughout your life, and you're blocked because you don't know enough. You need to start studying. And there's something about this portal card There's some of you out there who are portal keepers. You have the ability in your energy to open up portals, but you don't know it, and you don't know how to activate that gift, and you don't know how to exercise that gift. You think you're just Jenny from the block, and you're not. You have that ability to see. You have that ability to open portals. And I'm hearing some of you, you see little bits of your gift revving up sometimes, just randomly, little hints of some sort of power that you have, but you kind of dismiss it, or it scares you when it shows itself. Spirit is saying it's your soul trying to push you to look deeper into these gifts, look deeper into the understanding of your power, and remove the fear of your power. Society has instilled in a lot of us fear of our abilities, fear of our spiritual power, because the only way to control people with spiritual power is to make them afraid of themselves. And a lot of you are falling for it. You're afraid of how powerful you are. You're afraid of the beings that you can summon. You're afraid of the portals that you can open. You're afraid of how deeply powerful you are. And your soul is asking you, let's move on from this fear. Can we address this? Let's work through this fear so we can get to the good part. Can we get to the good part, please? For some of you, like, the energy I'm feeling is it's overdue. It's overdue. Your spirit, your soul is tired now. It's like, girl, can we move on from fear-based Christian programming? Can we move on from fear-based Islamic programming? Can we move on from the patriarchal programming that has you fearful of your powers because you don't want to be called a witch? Drop that there. If that is you, this is a part of the mission of the Goddess Project, to help women to realign with the true versions of themselves, the powerful, the deeply connected, deeply spiritually powerful version of themselves. That is the state of the goddess. Deeply aligned, deeply in flow, extremely powerful because she is the light. What? That's not a myth. That's a state of being that every woman on this planet is supposed to be able to achieve in their lifetime. That's not some sort of fable. It's an example to where we can get. In the same way Jesus came down here not to beg us to worship him. He said, be like me. He was trying to be an example of what a human being can be on this planet. An example of the higher state of being that we can all achieve. I'm going to leave that right there. So if that message spoke to you, the Goddess Project is waiting. We're accepting members. And okay. So to start this off, I want to read to you a few definitions of self-abandonment so we can get the proper definition in our minds. So, self-abandonment can be understood as the rejection of your own thoughts and feelings and needs. Self-abandonment is a self-destructive pattern that can contribute to anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and unfulfilling relationships. Self-abandonment is rejecting, suppressing, or ignoring parts of yourself, your needs, your wants, your limits, your boundaries, in order to gain the love, gain the respect, gain the desires of others. Are we feeling the energy right now? This is what self-abandonment is. Rejecting the truth about who you are, what you need, what your aspirations are, what your goals are, what your expressions are. Rejecting yourself in order to gain something externally, whether it is love, whether it is favor, whether it's admiration, whether it's desire, whether it's money, whatever it is, rejecting your true self in order to gain something external. And I want to point out here, because I'm hearing Spirit say, a lot of people think about self-abandonment in terms of the worst versions of it. You can self-abandon for very good reasons. You can self-abandon to take care of your kids. You can self-abandon to save the world. You can self-abandon to help other people. You can self-abandon for many good reasons, but I want to point out the trap of self-abandonment is that most of us are doing it for good reasons, thinking that it will give us good results. But the fact that you are participating in self-abandonment sours the pot. So that even though you're doing good, you're souring the pot. So the impact of the good that you're doing is not as bright and it's not as rewarding, because this whole world works on balance. If you give, that giving, that energy that goes this way must be balanced out with an energy that comes this way. That's why you have the concept of karma. That's why you hear that karma is a bitch, because if you throw something to the right, something's gonna get thrown back to the left. If you give out bad energy, you're gonna get something bad in return. If you give out good energy, you're gonna get something good in return. That's a concept amongst almost every religion out there, every belief system out there. It's the same principle applying here. You're doing good, but you are souring the pot by using a process that is not good, by using a process that is harmful. Therefore, the good that comes back to you is going to have a little darkness in it. Therefore, the energy that's replenished to you for giving, that is replenished to you for self-abandoning for a good reason, is going to have a little darkness in it. That's why you see a lot of people who live their life in service, dying terrible deaths, dying of terrible diseases. You're like, how is it that this well-known person lived their life for everyone else, yet they met such a terrible end? It's the law of balance. If you give and 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 never set the boundaries for receiving and never learn the principles of receiving in integrity, the universe is going to rebalance this energy with something that is not great. Not because it wants to, but because this is how the law works. What people don't understand or realize about spirit, and if you ask me, God is not a person with a personality. It's a divine energy, which means, I'm laughing because there's so much to this, which means it's not a person up there saying, oh, this person is so good, my heart is touched, I don't want them to go this way, I'm going to give them this. Divine energy is not a personality that you can appease, regardless of what a lot of organized religion wants you to believe. I'm just going to say it. A lot of us have been even taught how to pray incorrectly. We're taught to beg God for something. If we're pious enough, if we show enough that we love God, it will change his mind from giving us whatever little we have right now. It will change his mind to give us more. If we pray hard enough, he'll be like, oh my God, I'm so impressed, I'm going to give this person more. That's not the essence of God. God isn't a person that you can beg or appease and then change what he's giving you. God is a energy, a divine energy. You either know how to access this energy through law or you do not. There is no favor to be gained with energy. There is just a set of rules that you either know and can play along with and access, or you don't, and you'll spend your life hitting your head against the wall trying to access and never get access. This is why, I grew up Christian, and I know so many people pray all their life and nothing happens, because you're not praying in the right way. You're praying in a way that assumes that you can change God's mind, which is not so. The prayers that you should pray is praying for clarity on how to access divine energies, praying for clarity on how to shift your vessel, how to unblock your vessel so that divine light can flow through, because divine light is flowing whether you pray or not. The problem is your vessel available and open to receive the light that's flowing? It's kind of like the sun. The sun is always shining. When it comes up, it's shining. Whether or not you can receive the shine depends on whether or not you're in a house, under a tree, or under some clouds. But the sun is always shining. Once it's there, it's always shining. It's the same concept of divine energy. Divine energy is always flowing on all of us. Abundance is always flowing on all of us. What the difference is, why some people seem to have favor in life, while some people seem to have more in life, is not that the sun is shining more on them, not that the divine is pouring out more on them, is that their vessel is more unblocked, so they are receiving and holding more of the energy than others. We are the variables, not the divine. Whether or not we accept the light, whether or not we unblock and hold and receive the light, that is the variable, not whether or not the light is shining. I hope that makes sense. So let's talk about how self-love affects all the areas of our life. Because to really address self-abandonment, we need to understand how important self-love is. So self-love is a state of being where you appreciate yourself, where you honor the truth of your identity, where you honor the truth of who you are, your soul's expression, your authentic desires, your authentic needs, your authentic expressions of your soul, regardless of who likes it, who wants it, who thinks it's great, who thinks it's sexy, or who thinks it's repulsive. Self-love is honoring who you are regardless of external factors. And I know someone's going to talk about, well, what about the bad parts? We're going to get to that, because everyone has traits that they're here to address in this lifetime that are not so great. But self-love is still the appreciation and acknowledgement of those traits, but we're going to get to that. If you are not able to live in your soul's truth, if you are not able to live in the truth of who you are, your life will never flourish in the way that it's supposed to. And what do I mean by the way that it's supposed to? Every human being on this planet has a portion. Meaning, every human being on this planet has abundance that is allocated for them in this lifetime. Whether or not you are able to access that abundance depends on how much of the law you know. And by law, I don't mean some secret that you don't know. How much of the law you know, meaning the law that every human being can feel in their spirit, as in no one has to tell you not to hurt another person. No one has to tell you not to kill. No one has to tell you not to steal. Even though these things are written down in books, those are innate, inbuilt rules that your soul, your spirit, and instinctively you know that you should or shouldn't do. But every single person has a portion. And so to access that portion, to open that portion up, or to be able to receive that portion that's flowing from the divine, you have to be sitting in a certain energy that unlocks your gate to receive that portion, that unlocks your gate to receive that abundance. Some of you know that you're supposed to be living a more abundant life. You can feel it in your spirit, you see it in your dreams, you feel it in your body, but your reality is just not reflecting that knowing. What you're tapping into, what you're feeling is the portion that's supposed to be yours. You can feel it. It's almost like it's around you, but it's just not landing in your space. Some of you, have you ever thought of the fact that it might be your self-love that's blocking all of this? Some of you know that you're supposed to be in partnership with a beautiful person on this planet, a beautiful soul. You can feel it, you can feel it, you can see it, you dream about it, but it's just not happening for you. Why is that? There's a gate that's closed. There's an energetic key that you have not yet accessed. And so the barrier between that blessing flowing into your life is strongly closed in place. Self-love, true depths of self-love, is the key that will unlock a higher version of your life. And in a few of my videos, I've spoken about the fact that a lot of blessings, a lot of paths in life are guarded by doors that you have to have the energetic key to access. And if you do not have that energetic key, you cannot access that blessing. You cannot access that soulmate. You cannot access that money that's ready and waiting for you. You cannot access that house that's supposed to be. You cannot access the blessings that you're supposed to be having because you don't have the key. And you don't have the key because you haven't done some of the work to shift the energy in your light pattern to that right key. Picture like a Rubik's cube, like it's all jumbled, different patterns, and you have to shift, move this, move that, and shift the pattern around until you get all of the colors aligned on the Rubik's cube. It's the same thing with energetic keys. You are the energetic key, but the key to switching the key for different blessings is to align your energy with the lock on that blessing. And a lot of you, and for a vast majority of the blessings, self-love is one of the keys that elude most people because they think to themselves, of course I love myself. You know, I get a massage every month. Of course I love myself. I'm a very confident person. I can talk to anybody. Of course I love myself. Look how well I dress. Look how well I present myself. Of course I love myself. Self-love goes deeper than that. Self-love goes deeper than how you present yourself, how confident you are, and how much you pamper yourself. Self-love goes deep into, first of all, do you know who you are? Have you spent the time to properly figure out who you are? Have you spent the time to figure out the true desires of your soul? Because a lot of us have desires and goals we're working towards, and those goals and desires are stemming from a version of ourselves that is not our true self. Those desires and those goals that we've set and we're working towards, for a lot of us, those goals and desires come from the version of ourselves that our family created, the version of ourselves that society has created, the version of ourselves that our friends and peers would appreciate. We have all these different fake layers. There's who I need to be for my parents. There's who I need to be for society. There's who I need to be for men to like me and appreciate me. There's who I need to be for business to work out. We have all these fake layers, and Spirit is saying to you, all those layers can get you different things at different times, but the things those fake layers get you is fleeting. The things those fake layers get you will be here for a time and then they go away. Why? Because that's not a true version of yourself. And in order to uphold an untrue version of yourself, it requires immense amount of energy. And you simply cannot keep up these different levels of facades for the rest of your life. It's exhausting. It saps your energy. Some of you wonder why you're tired all the time. You're tired because all your energy is going to holding up and charging all these fake versions of yourself. And when I say fake, don't think the extreme of, someone being fake. Fake can mean being one way for your parents because you know this will make your parents love you more. This will make your parents do this for you. This will make... Holding up a facade that's not who you are for the external appreciation, desire, and love of someone else. That takes energy. That's why so many of you are burnt out. That's why many of you cannot manifest, because all of your energetic being is being used up to hold up fake facades of who you are. Another reason why a lot of you cannot manifest is because you're trying to manifest from the fake facades of who you are, but you can't fool Spirit. Spirit knows when you ask for this, that's not what your soul actually wants. That's not actually what you want. That's the version of you who your parents created that's asking for this. Oh yeah, I want this house. But you don't. You want this house because it'll make your parents think that you're being a responsible adult. It'll make society think that you're doing something right. All of these things, when what you actually want is to travel the world for the next 5 years. What your soul actually needs is to go out and meet people and see people and stay in different places. You can't outsmart the universe. So when you ask for something from facades, from versions of yourself that are untrue, you will not get them. And then you sit there and say, this manifesting stuff is not real. This spiritual stuff is not real. It is real. What's not real is the place from which you're trying to attain all of these things. You ever see people who work hard all their lives to get certain things, and when they get it, they sit back and say, why do I feel so shitty? I thought this would bring me happiness. I thought this would be the highlight of my life. It's not because those things aren't great. It's because the version of them that wanted those things are not the true versions of who they are. So they got the things and are still deeply unhappy inside, because where they're feeling from is the true soul. And the true soul, your true identity, is saying, okay, you got all this stuff, but this is not what I've been asking for. This is not what I need. And so you're surrounded by all the stuff that you thought you need, or all the people that you thought you wanted, or all the promotions that you thought you should get, and you're still struggling on the inside. It's because you haven't connected to the true version of yourself. You haven't exercised true self-love. You haven't digged deep to find out who you are and what your real desires are. You haven't given yourself the respect of understanding who you truly are, understanding what your true desires are, understanding then making goals based on your true desires, your authentic wants, and your authentic needs. And this is one of the problems of society, because we have normalized being fake versions of ourselves for very good reasons. We've normalized being fake versions of ourselves for all the different reasons, and building a life based on the desires of the fake versions of ourselves. And we've normalized that being what it means to be a successful, highly competent, highly adored, highly exalted member of society, living from the fake versions, working from the fake versions, creating goals from the fake versions. And that is why we're so deeply unhappy in society today. And so Spirit says to you, today we're wiping that out. Today we're wiping that off. Your assignment is to remove all of your goals and dreams that you've ever worked towards, and put on some music, put on some meditation music, and feel into who you truly are. What do I actually like? Okay, I think I like this, and really feel into that. Do I actually like this? Or do I like this because my parents made me believe that in order to be successful, I have to have this? Do I actually want to be this way? Do I actually want to dress this way? Or has society made me believe in order to be desired by the soulmate that I want to have, I have to dress in this way, I have to present myself this way, I have to speak this way? Is this really me? Or is this who I desire to be because I want the attention of this aspect of society, or I want this goal? Is this truly me? Ooh, and I hear another message coming. Another important message about this aspect of self-love, self-respect, and identification of your true soul desires and your true soul essence and your true soul expression is this. If you have not developed self-love and deepened into the true nature of self-love, the vessel that you have is a leaky vessel. And a leaky vessel can hold no light. Let me explain. One thing that a lot of religions will mention, and a lot of spiritual teachings will mention, is our body is a vessel. You hear it all the time. I grew up in Christianity. You hear them talk about this vessel, 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 vessel. Your body is a vessel. And the reason it's called a vessel is because your soul is light. And your soul is connected to divine light. There's always a connection. That's what keeps you alive. Your connection to divine light, your soul being in the body. So the soul is a vessel, because a vessel is a cup or a bowl, something that can hold something. So your body is the vessel holding the light that is your soul, holding the light of the Creator in it. What happens if the vessel that's holding water has cracks in it, has holes in it? No matter how much water you pour into that vessel, the water is pouring out. No matter how much water you dump into that vessel with cracks and holes in it, it will never be full. It might be full for a minute, it might be full for an hour, but if it has cracks, if it has holes, it is eventually going to empty. Does that sound like what's happening to some of us? Some days we're on really high days, some days we're on really low days. This morning we're really high, by tonight we're really low. A lot of us, myself included, because that's what I'm working on right now, a lot of us have holes in our vessel. And so the divine light is being poured out into us, but it is leaking out. And a huge hole that forms in the vessel is a hole that's formed from self-abandonment. Why? Because the vessel, the self, is the vessel. And so if you have different problems, maybe you have anger issues, light leaks out. Maybe you have issues taking advantage of other people, light leaks out. Maybe you have various issues in your life where life leaks out. Those can be smaller cracks, maybe some bigger cracks. But if you have self-love issues, if you're self-abandoning, meaning this is an issue that affects the vessel itself, the self, the vessel itself, that is a huge gaping hole in the vessel, which means you keep trying to fill yourself up, but as much as you fill yourself up, it runs out through the back. As much massages as you get, you still feel stiff. As much light as you get in energy sessions, it lasts for a day, it lasts for a couple days, maybe it lasts for a week, and then you feel low again. Why? You were filled up, but your vessel is cracky. Your vessel has holes. Your vessel is not able to hold enough light. And even going to the spiritual women who are energy healers, who are offering energy services, that's a very big thing for you. Because if you want to deepen into your gifts, if you want to strengthen your connection with your gifts, your connection with the spiritual realms, if you want to activate and awaken more energy abilities, energy healing abilities, more other spiritual abilities, you have to be able to hold light. Light is the thing that awakens and activates gift. If you are surrounded by too much darkness, your gifts are going to get weaker until they disappear. And they'll come back as soon as you lift the darkness and bring more light into your system. The amount of light you hold is directly proportionate to the strength of your gifts. And so for any of you out there who are working in the spiritual realms and you want to deepen and you want to strengthen those gifts, you have to figure out a way to charge your body with more light. Even think of this concept. Angels are beings. Sorry, I'm very connected to angels, so when I speak about them, I can hear or I can feel the energy perk up. They're like, you talking about us? So angels are beings of immense power in this realm. Why? They have the abilities that they have to heal, to create, to travel, they can do amazing things, from the perspective of someone like us in the third dimension. But they have all these abilities not because they're angels, but because of their proximity to divine light. Angels are so close in proximity to divine light that they have God-like powers. Though they aren't God in one respect, they still have a lot of those abilities that one would attribute to a divine being because they're so close in proximity to light. So the closer you get in proximity to light is the more your abilities will come online, is the more you become like those beings that have walked the earth before you who did amazing things, such as Jesus, such as Buddha, and all the others. Those are beings that had immense light. So much so that when you were in their presence, you could feel the difference in the atmosphere. You can feel the difference in this person because their energetic being, not just their body, their whole energetic space is charged with light. So self-abandonment is directly related to the strength of your spiritual gifts. Self-abandonment is directly related to abundance, is directly related to love, is directly related to how well you're doing in life. is directly related to how much you have in life. Because all of those aspects that you desire, the light, how much light you have in your being, how much light you can hold in your life, determines your ability to call in that love and hold that love. Because all is light, all is energy. What do you think love is? Love is a huge amount of divine light. That's why you feel giddy when you're in love. That's why you feel so amazing when you're receiving love from another person, when you're receiving attention, when you're receiving kinship and intimacy, because that's a huge flow of divine energy into your system, into your being. So you're high on divine light. If you have a vessel that cannot hold light, you cannot hold love. You ever wonder why love never goes well for you? Love comes in and love goes out. Your vessel is cracky. Your vessel has holes. Your vessel is leaky. That's the word I'm looking for. Your vessel is leaky. Some of you are calling in, or you're desiring true love, like a soul partnership, and it won't come in, and it won't come in because Spirit knows that right now your vessel cannot hold that love. And if they should bring in that love to you right now, it will come in, fill you up for a day, fill you up for a couple months, fill you up for a year, and eventually it's going to run out. And what happens when that love, that light runs out of your vessel? You look at this person and say, you're not filling me up. I'm not feeling the love like I used to. It's not the person, it's your leaky vessel. Some of you are calling in abundance. You want the money, but your leaky vessel, that money will come in, that money will drain out. Because your vessel is leaky. Spirit cannot bring you the abundance you need, the love you need, the light you need, until you start working on stopping those leaks. So here is how you fill those cracks in your vessel. Here is how you fill those holes in your vessel. One by one, you start with addressing self-abandonment. Where in your life are you abandoning yourself the most? Where in your life are you abandoning yourself the most? Hint, hint. It tends to be in the area of your life that's gone to crap. The area of your life that no matter how hard you try to work on it, it still remains in the depths of the dumps. You try so hard, but you cannot seem to sort that area of your life out. That is normally the place where we are abandoning ourselves the most. So identify the place that you're having the most issues. Then look into that area and identify, where am I abandoning myself? Where am I not being truthful about my desires? Where am I not being truthful about how I feel about this? Where am I not being truthful about my goals? Where am I not being truly myself? Third thing, where am I actioning self-abandonment in those areas? Where am I not, what are the actions of self-abandonment there? Where am I not showing up for myself in that area? So it could be in your business. Maybe you've been trying to start different businesses, nothing is working out. Maybe this business that you've been trying for so long, it's just not taking off in the way you know it should. How am I abandoning myself there? What are the actions that I am doing that's abandoning myself? In business, there are a lot of areas where I was abandoning myself. I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't making the content that I knew I should make. I wasn't being as consistent as I know I should be. I wasn't getting up every day and doing the things that I know that I need to do for my business to be successful. If I got up one day and I didn't feel like it, I did nothing for the business that day. I'm like, oh, I can do it tomorrow. And that is an example of self-abandonment. If I had a client that needed something, I would do everything in my power to deliver what I needed for that person. If I have a friend who needed something, I'm gonna get up, even though I'm tired, I'll be like, oh, she needs this, so let me get up and do this. But for myself, no. I'm just gonna chill and watch Netflix today because I'm really tired today. I'll do it tomorrow. So anything for myself, I could put off, I could brush aside, but for other people, I was there. Oh, you need me to be here? I got you. Oh, you need me to help you with something? I'm there. That's one of those examples of abandoning yourself. Another thing that I want to point out in this video is it doesn't have to be related to that specific area that you're having trouble. You will always find things in that area where you're abandoning, but you abandoning yourself in any way can affect this particular thing. For instance, you knowing that you need to work out every day to maintain your health can affect your business energy. You knowing that you need to eat certain types of foods because you feel your best when you eat these types of foods, but you refuse to actually put in the discipline and give yourself the love and respect that you deserve and actually eat those foods can affect your energy of love. These things, the thing with spirituality is nothing is in a container when it comes to spirituality. It always spreads out and connects to other things. And so, especially when it comes to the self, because you are the container, you are the container for the business. You are the container for the love that you're asking for. You are the container for nurturing of your children. You are the container for your family relationships. You are the thing that touches everything, right? So especially with self-love, you abandoning in any area of your life will affect all the areas of your life. You not exercising daily, you not eating well daily impacts all of the other energies, because what's happening is you're sending out an energy into the universe saying, I don't believe I'm enough. I don't value myself enough to get up and exercise today, even if it's a small, short exercise. I don't value myself enough to eat the right foods today. You're sending out that signal. And what you're sending out the signal of, I am not enough. I don't value myself enough. I know I'm not enough. I don't see myself as enough. And what do we always say? The universe is a mirror. So if you're sending out, I'm not enough, I'm not valuable enough, what are you going to get a reflection of in your love life? You're not enough. You're not valuable enough. You're going to get men who treat you just like how you treat yourself or how you think about yourself. They're going to reflect that you are not enough. They're going to reflect that you are not valuable enough to be chosen. You are not valuable enough for a commitment. You're not valuable enough for a proper date. It's not them. It's you. It's how you have been treating you. It's how you have been representing you. Those are the energy signals that you have been putting out. And so when you have business, money, you put out that you are not enough, you are not worth enough, you're going to get that reflection back in business. You're not going to get enough money. You're not going to get enough clients. You're not going to get business growth because you are not enough. And so this is how the energetics work. And it's important for us to understand the energetics, because some of us have been bashing our heads against the walls. Why is it that I am such a nice person, I'm such a giving person, I'm such a loving person, I have so much to give, yet I keep getting men who take advantage of me? I keep getting men who seem to like me, but they're not committing. I keep getting men who don't choose me. I keep getting men who want to have a good time, but they're not choosing me. You're getting that because of your energetics, because you're not paying attention to your energy. You're only paying attention to your externals. Do I look good enough? Am I saying the right things? Am I being kind? Am I being loving? I even saw on TikTok, and I feel like as women, we've all experienced this. This girl was talking about how, don't make me laugh, y'all. This girl was talking about how this guy she just started dating was sick. And she made him a little care package, some medicine, some soup, some this, some that, and brought it over to his house. And the guy broke up with her because he said that she was too much. And when you look at that, the man is sick. The girl gave him love, care, and affection. Why did that result in lack? It resulted in lack because more than likely there's something in her energetics that is overriding, something that's overriding the external output of love and affection that she's giving. Because again, you cannot fool the universe. You cannot put a pretty painting of love and affection and joy on the outside and think because that's what you're giving on the outside that that's what you're going to get back. No, you get back the reflection of what's happening on the inside. So there's some version of lack that spirit is trying to reflect to her that, hey, your outside is good. You're a caring person. You're a loving person. You're a thoughtful person. That's all good. But your inside is still sitting in not enough. Your inside is still sitting in, I don't deserve love. I don't deserve commitment. I don't deserve true partnership. So I wanted to bring out that example because I want you to understand you can't outwork energetics. You can't outwork the truth of what you're feeling inside, the truth of your state of being.